Hello everyone, you're welcome once again to this live stream, and this is this week's live stream. Sorry for the delay because I had a little trouble with internet and I had to fix it. I actually tethered my phone to the computer so I can be able to have this lesson, and let's start right away and let's not beat about the bush. And quickly, just as an introduction, this is a series of HTML web design. I'm teaching you HTML from nothing to something, and I'm so happy you're here. Thank you very much for watching, and thank you very much for being a part of this. If you're watching it later, you have any questions, drop them in the comment section. I'll be waiting to listen. I'll be waiting to read your comments so that I can be able to attempt them and find for you solutions. Now, without wasting any more time, I want to dive in straight to what we're supposed to be doing. Let's get into what we're supposed to be doing. So let me just create here a folder and let me call it Learn HTML2. This is what we started with last time. We did this, but I'm going to review everything from here. So I'll right click on this and open it with VS Code. I prefer using VS Code because it's an open source version of VS Code without tracking from Microsoft. So let's start. First, I'm going to create my HTML file. Let me call it index.html. Someone will ask me, why do you use index? Can't you use something else? Yeah, I prefer to use index because it's what web servers know. It's what the web servers always look for as the first file on a website. A website is basically a folder with hyperlinked HTML documents, and these HTML documents are the ones that have information. So we're actually building HTML structure here. So let's start. So I told you last time, when you want to build out a web page using VS Code, or if you're using Sublime Text, install an extension called Emmet, and then you put in an exclamation mark like that, and then you hit enter. It will put for you the HTML boilerplate or the starting point for your HTML. And let's get into this. So we learned how to change the title. For now, I don't want to get rid of these meta tags. I just want to leave them. They won't affect my work. So let me call this lesson 2, just like that. You'll excuse me, let me put my phone on silent mode because I have some people trying to get in touch with me, and I do not want it to be an inconvenience to our lesson. I'll be able to see their notifications, but it will not interfere with my lesson. All right, so lesson 2, here we are. So let me open this with Live Server. So I'll right click, open with Live Server, and so here we are. Lesson 2 is up this way. Let me expand this a bit. So I told you in the previous lesson, we insert content into our HTML using tags, and the tags that we use, and the tags that we use are basically keywords inside angle brackets. This is an example of a tag. This is the body tag. Body tag has an opening tag and a closing tag. We have the HTML tag having a closing HTML tag, head tag having a closing head tag, and the first thing we learned how to insert was a paragraph. So I said paragraph, and I said this is my first paragraph. So you can see that it has appeared here in my, let me zoom in this a bit, in my web page. I also taught you how to insert headings. For example, heading 1 using H1, and I could say, welcome to my website. Actually, let me say my web page. So let me just zoom out. So we have this, and this is our first HTML web page. Welcome to my web page. And I also taught you how to insert dummy text using lorem ipsum. Just say lorem, press tab. It automatically puts for you a lot of dummy text. Let me do this so that I can see everything. So you can see that. So in case I want a paragraph with 100 words, I just type in lorem, then type in 100, then press tab. It will create for me a paragraph with 100 words, and we are happy to do it. So I also taught you how to insert in other headings like H2, maybe biography. Then you can see H2 is smaller than H1. We could also insert others, like let's say, let me call this schools attended. Wait. So let me rename this to H3. You can see something has happened here. Let me get rid of this. So this is smaller, H3 is smaller than H2. Let me just get rid of all this. So another thing which I taught you was how to insert hyperlinks. And I said to insert a hyperlink, we use an A tag like this. And then we put here the protocol, then the name of the website that we want to go to. And then inside there we can say maybe Google. And after doing this, let me get rid of, yeah, it's here. So when I click on this, it should open for me Google right here, which it has done. That is well and good. I could want it to open in a new tab. I could say target. Oh, wait, sorry. Yeah, target. Let me do this. Target, you'll excuse me. Yes, underscore blank, sorry. After doing that, when I click on this, it should open for me in a new tab. When I click on it again, it should open for me in a new tab. Or I could name the target to maybe something like Joseph, and every time when I click on this, it should open for me in the same tab and reload the same tab. You can see it's reopening for me the same thing, the same tab. Then I also taught you how to insert images. Now let me just create a folder here inside of my workspace. Let me call it images, because I want to separate them from the HTML. So one of the sites I use for getting free images is unsplash.com. This site has very good images that you can use for anything, and you will not be charged for using them. Let me just make this bigger so we can see what to do. Let's say, for example, I want images of students. You can see immediately I get very good images here. Let me download this. Let me look for something else. Maybe I could get this. Download for free. As you can see, very high quality images, free of charge. No one is asking me to pay anything. It's a very good site, and you can use them for anything. You'll not be asked to pay. No one will follow up with you with copyright matters. All you need to do is just to attribute them, just to, it's a good thing. Help them out, also get more clients and things of the kind, in case someone needs them to do for them maybe some photography for some sort of maybe project. Yeah, it can be a good thing. So let me open up this folder and just drag these images into my web project. Most of these are still downloading, taking quite some time, but let me minimize this. Learn HTML images. Let me just rename this to something shorter. Maybe I could call this first image. The others are coming, so let's go on as we learn this. So we have these two things to look at. All right, so let's get back to what we are doing. So let's say I want to insert an image. I already put in one image here, and I called it a first image. So for me to be able to insert first image into my web page, I could do something like this. I could say img, and then it's giving me a property called src. Let me start with alt. So let me say photo of a student. Now, in case my image does not load, that will be shown here, photo of a student. And in case my image loads, then this text will not be shown. So for example, here I want to access a folder called images and access first image. When I save this, I'll see that my image has been loaded, but my image is too big. I have to scroll horizontally, vertically. and all that kind of stuff for me to be able to see this image. So I did this intentionally because in the previous lesson I forgot to talk about this. We can actually resize the image by defining its width. I could say I want a width of 100 pixels. And when I do this, it will automatically resize the image to 100 pixels. I mean, it will resize the width to 100 pixels and the height automatically to a constrained value within the how they call it, the ratio of the height and the width of the image. So if I say I want it to be like, let's say 500 pixels, 5 times that, it will automatically resize the height so we can see the image is fitting. We could also constrain the height too. I could say the height should also be 500 pixels. This will destroy the aspect ratio of the image, so it will make it a square image. Let's look at this. So the image is fully square, 500 pixels horizontal, 500 pixels vertically. So you can resize images. I always prefer to resize either the height and not resize the width and maintain the aspect ratio. So let me change the height to 400 pixels. That is still small. Let me use this. The width, let me give it 400 pixels. And let me get the height out like this. So I have an image that fits into my web page. So that is that. So you could also wrap a hyperlink around this image. Like, let's say I could wrap HTTPS, my hyperlink, www.josephopio.com, and let me do this. So when you hold down Alt and arrow down in VS Code in Windows, it will automatically move this below the next line. So here this image has turned into a hyperlink. When I click on it, it automatically opens my site. Sorry, still I've not worked on my website, but it has a lot of information here about me, and currently it's not well laid out. That doesn't worry me so much. You could also choose, like, let's say I could target, let me target the same thing I targeted before, which is Joseph. So if I click on this, it should, okay, let me do this. Let me see what will happen. Let me try Google. It will open for me in the same tab as that of Joseph. So that is just a recap of what we learned previously. We've spent about 13 minutes recapping this. So let's get into what I want us to learn today. So today, basically, what I want us to learn is I want us to learn about. Excuse me, I'm trying to load up some stuff on my iPad here so I can be able to go on. So I want us to learn about, number one, ordered lists and unordered lists. Then shall talk about changing font size and color and type. Then changing background colors and aligning text. This is going to take us about 2 hours, so please brace yourself and let's get into this. So let's say, for example, let me just get rid of this code here. Let's not have any example. Let me just start right away with what we're supposed to be learning. So assuming I want to create my unordered lists, I mean my lists. We have 2 kinds of lists. Let me use comments here just to make sure that I'm using what I taught you in the previous lesson. Maybe we want to create lists, maybe lists of certain things, just lists. We are just doing lists. So let me say I have an H1. Let me say Karen's lists. Okay. Let's say Karen's shopping list. So let's say Karen wants to go to the shop to purchase a few things. Now we have 2 kinds of lists. We have the first kind of list, which is called unordered, and the second one is called ordered, like this. So to create an unordered list, we shall use the tag UL. To add items into our list, the keyword which I like using is LI, list item. So we want to add in list items. So let's say she wants to go and shop. Maybe she wants to buy some sugar. When I save this, you'll see a dot before sugar. Let's say she wants to go and buy some milk. Maybe she wants to go and buy some, there's a food called lenga lenga, Burundi. Maybe she wants to go and buy maybe a little bit of soap. Maybe she wants to buy meat. Maybe she wants to buy what else? A lot of stuff. Let's say maybe I've run blank a little bit. Maybe phone. Let me just use that. So now here I've actually created an unordered list. And unordered lists behind them we have instead dots or symbols. You can define which kind of symbol you want. So now unordered lists don't show any order of items, so you don't find numbers behind them. But then we have the other kind of lists called ordered lists. Let's say, for example, we are doing a recipe, or maybe we are maybe showing someone directions. Let's have an H1 maybe. Maybe directions to capital shoppers. Okay, so for you to be able to direct someone to capital shoppers, first you need to be knowing where capital shoppers is and where the person who's trying to go to capital shoppers is at. So with that, because every step has to be followed one after the other. So let's do this. Sorry, my audio is hitting 0 decibels, and I don't want to see that because I'm sure it is affecting those who are listening. It might be too loud. Let me just cut it down just a little bit. Okay, let me see if it is still hitting 0. Close. Is my audio still hitting 0? Yes, good. So it's not hitting 0 anymore. 0 decibels, so I'm sure it's not affecting anybody's ears, or it's not affecting your speakers. I'm doing this because I do audio production. I know what it means when something hits 0 decibels. It's really so dangerous. So let's assume we are directing someone to capital shoppers. Maybe let's say the person's at Nakumat. So to do that, we shall use OL. Let's say let me just do a quick Google search here. Maps.google.com. Let me assume I'm getting directions from Nakumat to... No, let's not do that. Let me use places in Burundi. Let's say I want someone who's going to Kiri, is it at Kiriri Gardens, and is going to Espace Vego. Espace Vego. So let's get the details. So first, the person has to head west towards this avenue, drive along this boulevard, and all that kind of thing. So I will not use this exact stuff. I'll just create up my own. So to add items into our list, we shall use li. Let's say from Kiriri, maybe someone should head west. Okay. Then after that, drive along, maybe let's say Skindia Road. I'm just making up something here. And from there, maybe go on for the next 10, let's say 4 kilometers. And after that, your destination is on the right. So now you'll notice that with this I'm actually having numbers behind my list. So that's about how to create lists. So the first one is unordered list. Sometimes I find it hard to say unordered list then unordered list. I just prefer to say the first one is unordered list, then the other one is ordered list. So that helps me differentiate this so much. And let's keep going. Let me just move my iPad closer because I seem to be stretching so much when I'm trying to scroll through the things that are here. So now we can create a list inside of a list. For example, let's say I'm doing something like let me make up a new file. So let me have a new file. Let me say list in list.html. It will be easier for me. Yes, that. So list. Oh wait. Sorry. List in list. Let me hide this so I can have everything right here. Okay. Zoom out a little bit. Let me just check how many people are online so far. Yes, whoever is online, I'm so happy to see you. Yeah, this is so great. Currently, I have 0 concurrent viewers, but yeah, there's someone who's playing along, but he's following from behind, and I'm so happy to see you. So let me work with this. Let me dispose of this port, and let me reload this. So list in list. Let's say I want to do maybe something like H2. Joseph Opio. Maybe let me have bio H3. And then let me have an ordered list. No, let me not do this. Let me use an unordered list here. UL like this. I have LI with a H3, and I say this is bio. So this should appear like this. It's good. Just space this out. So under this list item, I want to create the next unordered list, and this unordered list is going to have things like name. My name is Joseph Opio. Maybe let's say first name. So you have first name, Joseph, and then last name, Opio. Good. You'll notice something. As I add another list besides the list item, it changes the kind of bullet that it's using for it here. So maybe I could say age. Maybe Joseph Opio is 28 years old. That's not my real age. I'm just putting in stuff. I don't want people to know how old I am. In Africa, you don't speak about your age. You might cause trouble. Yeah. Just in case. So maybe I could also say age 28, maybe origin Uganda. Okay, so I've done that. So below this UL, let me add another list item, and let me call this schools attended with H3. Schools attended. Let me save this. Good. Below that LI, I want to create in another UL. This time, let me create another list inside this list. So let me have tertiary institutions. I don't know what's happening with my typing today. I'm finding it hard to type faster. Let me make this an H4. H4 like that. Control X and Control V. So let me see this. Okay, good. So which tertiary institutions have I attended? I want to have a list item of CLM. Okay, good. Next is a Bustema University. Okay, good. So below this H4, oh wait, this is supposed to be outside this LI. Like this. Sorry, made a mistake. Supposed to be outside this LI, but still looks the same. So you'll notice as the list gets int this list, which is inside of this list, which is inside of this list, which is inside of this list, you will notice that the kinds of bullets actually change. So if I maybe try to put in something here like let's say li, maybe high schools. Oh wait, h4. And I put in an unordered list below this. Maybe I could have list items with let me not do this. St. Peter's College Tororo. Yeah, you'll notice, yeah, the thing is going on well. So when I put a list inside of a list, the kind of bullet that is there changes. And as I add in more lists inside of these lists, the bullet changes. So you find that as you go deeper, the bullets keep changing. But here is what will happen. In case I add an unordered list here, just let me put in something random below St. Peter's. You'll notice that, wait, what's happening? Yeah, you'll notice that the kind of bullet now remains the same. It remains the same completely. Doesn't change. Doesn't change completely. Oh wait, let me see. Li, yes, good. Ul, yes, good. It doesn't change completely. It keeps going and going and going and sinking deeper and deeper and deeper. So that's about using unordered lists. How about let me try and change this to OL. There's a trick which I want to show you. When you want to choose things that look the same, you click on the first one, hold down Ctrl and press D, and then again while still holding down Ctrl, press D. So you'll find to choose every UL available, both opening and closing ULs. So I want to change them to OL, to change them to ordered lists. See what will happen. Yes, we shall have the lists going inwards, but the kinds of numberings will will remain the same. So that's about having lists inside of lists. Hope we are happy with what we've learned. This is very useful later. So remember this. In case things confuse you, you can always write your comments. Like for example, I could say this is start of the lists. Comments will help you. They will save you a lot. So I can say, another comment is here. This list is inside the main list. Comments will save you so much. So then I have another list here. This list is inside the list, which is inside the list. So something of the kind. These comments will save you a lot. If I try to look at the source code of this file, view page source, you'll notice that I still have my comments in there, but they are not displayed at the front of the page. So hope we are happy with what we've learned so far. We've been online for 28 minutes. Let me just check my camera, because my camera likes shutting off after 30 minutes. So let me just add just a few settings just to make sure I have it working. All right, good. So I just press a button at random just to make sure that it's still active. It saves a lot. Saves a lot, and yeah, let's continue. So we've done lists. Let me do something about fonts. Let me just create a file. Let me call it fonts.html. If you're following along, you can pause the video and create the file and then follow along slowly. I advise when you're trying to learn, first watch all through from the beginning to the end. And when you reach the end, you can now get your computer and try to follow along. And then afterwards, you can switch your computer off and then, oh wait, I actually wanted to be doing this. I need to be doing something like this. Until when I'm explaining, I have something like this. Good. So I was saying, if you are trying to learn what I'm doing, if you're following along, it might not be good for you to do it the first time, because some people are not good enough with following along and they pick things first time. So the best thing to do is watch it from the beginning to the end, and then after that you can replay it and then pause as you copy the code, listen to the explanation, copy the code, then later you can shut the video completely and then try to do what I did and keep following what keep following the steps, and you'll find that you'll be able to do something that is cool. So with that said, let's get into what we're supposed to be doing. Let's get back. So here we are. We want to deal with fonts. Let me just whip up something so fast. Just watch along. So okay. Oh, sorry. Pause this. Go live again, so I can have something about fonts. So here, let's say H1. All about fonts. Good. So let's have a paragraph. Theorem with 20 words. Alt Z. I'm going to repeat this like a few times. So let's start with what we're supposed to be doing, and hope we shall enjoy this. So first one. Previously, when we began HTML, I shared with you how we can add in properties and values into our tags. For example, here we could put in a property and a value. Now, the property we are going to introduce is what you call inline CSS, which is sorry, English is not my mother tongue. Somehow the words have gone. But the keyword we use for introducing inline CSS is the keyword style. So when you use the keyword style, you can now add in values, but then this time it will be property value pairs. For example, for now I'm talking about the font size. So let's say I want to introduce the font size. I'll just type in font size like this, and maybe I want to make it 10 pixels like this. You can see I've made our H1 smaller than our paragraphs. Yet actually by default, without this font size 10 pixels, actually H1 is bigger than the paragraph. So I can also make it bigger than its default size, 100 pixels. Oh wait, sorry. You know that it has become too big, too big, bigger than its default value. So that's about changing font size. So you can choose to make it any size. Let me make it 18 pixels. Sorry. I keep pressing Ctrl X. So you'll notice that it's almost the same size with our paragraphs. Let me try to make this paragraph also maybe a different size. Let me say style, font size, maybe 10 pixels. Watch that. This paragraph has become so small. Let me make this paragraph 20 pixels. So style, font size, 20 pixels. To write 20 pixels, shall write 20 px. So you can see that these are all paragraphs, but one is bigger than the other because I've used font size 10 pixels for the first one and font size 20 pixels for the second one. Another thing that we can do using our style property is changing the font color. So to change font color, let me use this. I could say, style font color. Oh, I don't have to put in font color. I have to just type in color like this, and I could type in any color I want. For example, I want a color like red. You can see this has become red. I could also choose to do something like this. Excuse me a bit. I could also choose to do something like let me do it in the next one. Style color violet. Sorry. Like this. I have violet. Let me make it blue violet because that's so. Yes. That was quite bright. This one is a little darker. So I'm able to change font color by saying color blue violet, and then I'm able to change font size by saying font size 20 pixels. Now, this is what I want us to remember here. This, you should remember it. Let it be in your muscle memory. Let it always be in your head. You should know this. Whenever we are writing CSS, I'll repeat this later, but for now I just want to say it because it's important. You have to write your property, your attribute, and then the value. After the value, you have to put a semicolon. A semicolon is required in this because if I need to put in more than one attribute and then put in more than one value, I'll separate those attribute value pairs using semicolons. For example, in this last one, I could say I want to give it style font size of, let's say 25 pixels, and I want to give it a color too. Color, maybe color. I want to give it a color of, let's say green, something of this kind. I've used two attributes, attribute value, two attributes and two values, all of them paired, and I get something like this. So I'm able to pair more than one, not pair, but I'm able to put in more than one attribute and value in the same property. All right, so that is about that. You can practice that with anything. You can also change the font family. Like for example, let's take this red font. I can say font family, and I say I want it to be sans serif. We shall talk about this later. See how it will change. This is a sans serif font. Assuming I want to put here monospace font, I could say font family, monospace. See what I get? Something cool. I could say maybe in this green font, I could say I want to give it font family cursive. Is font family cursive, something of this kind. So I'm able to change, and using these semicolons, I'm able to separate, not celebrate, to separate different attributes and their attributes and their values, attribute value using semicolons. And I hope we have enjoyed that. All right, so let's talk about background color. Now, still to add a background color, I'll still in this, let me use this H1 for now. I'll still be able to add it here by saying background color, and I say maybe I want background color red, something of this kind. See that? Or I could say maybe I've used red so much, blue. Cool. I don't like that. Let me try another color. Maybe when I do this, I can see other colors here. So let me choose whatsoever is better for me. Let me use cyan. See that? I'm able to change the background color to anything. So I could do anything to all my fonts. Actually, let me just do it just for fun. Background color. You can follow along. Let's say, actually you can define the background by just saying background, and then you define a color, like let's say purple. See that? It works for me. I could also do the same here, background, and then just write in a color. Let me say Alice blue. See that? I've gotten something Alice blue here. I hope you can see it. So that is about adding background color. All right, good. So let's go on. Now it's getting more interesting here. And let me do this. Let me just align this side by side so we have this going well. Now, let's also learn how to align text. For now, I'm going to create a small heading here. Let me have H2, align, something of this kind. So this is my H2. Let me give it a style. Text align. Now I can align text to the left, which is actually the default way in which text is aligned. Actually, let me not use a short text. Let me just use something quite long. Lorem, just like that. Good. Big enough for us to see. By default, our text is aligned to the left. Let me get this out and you see how it is. Let's get this out completely, like this. By default, it's aligned to the left. So if I put here style, text align, and I say left, I'm literally playing around with the default values. We can also align to the right. It's misbehaving. See this? It's aligned to the right. Or I can justify text. Something like this. Justify means on the left it's vertically aligned and on the right too it's vertically aligned. Now that is about aligning text. We can align to the left. We can align to the center. We can align to the right. And we can justify our text. Alright, that is about alignment. Now, sometimes when you are doing your work, let me comment this out. To comment out something, just highlight it. Hold down Control and /. You can be able to comment it out. It has gone. Sometimes when you are working, you might want to make some text bold. For example, let me take this. I want this text here, molestias Bracentium. I can't read that. Sounds like something else. It's here, necessitious, blah, blah, blah. What is it? I can't see it. Lorem dolo citamate. Okay, let's just work with this. Okay, so I think it's from around here up to here. These three. I want to make them bold. To make them bold, in previous versions of HTML, we would do this. You put in a B, opening B at the beginning of the text which you want to make bold, and a closing B where you want it to be bolded. And you can see this, it has been bolded. And it's actually bold right now. So, that worked for us, but in HTML5, we use the keyword strong. It does the same thing. It does the same thing. So you could choose to move somewhere and say, maybe I want to put it here. Strong. Yes, it has been put here. Closing tag. Let me just move it to the end. So this has been made bold. Yeah, and that's cool. Actually, it's up to here. Then also, you might want to emphasize certain text. To emphasize text means to make it italic. Actually, let me put in here paragraph, lorem, just like that. So I have this here. So let's say I want to emphasize these 4 words here from the word fuga. In previous versions of HTML, we would use the keyword I. So we would use the I tag. And let me do it here like this. And you can see this has been italicized. But in HTML 5.0, we use the keyword EM. EM, let me put it at the end this way, like this. And you can see that same thing has happened to this. And then also, you can emphasize and bold text at the same time. You can use these keywords interchangeably. So let me just have strong here. Sorry, it has rubbed off the word. Like this. let me bold just a few things inside here. Yes. So you can see something can be bold and italic at the same time. Yeah, it also works. So that is that. We have learned how to make ordered and unordered lists. We have learned how to change the color of font. We have learned how to change the font size and the type of font. We have learned, I recapped comments. Then we talked about how to change the background color and align text. So now with this, let's have a recap of what we've learned. I expected this lesson to go on for 2 hours, but it seems I'm a good teacher at summarizing. So let's recap all this. We are going to build a simple social networking profile of ourselves, and let's have it here. So let me have recap.html, and let's start with what you're supposed to do. So exclamation point, enter. Let me have everything displayed. Okay, here, social networking. Sorry. Cool. Okay, here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, hope we shall be happy to do this. So let me dispose of this port and let me go live once again. I think I should close all these tabs so that we get to know what we are doing. So according to what I have here as my guide, we have to talk a little bit about about ourselves. So we are required to have a photo of ourselves inside here, and I think let me copy it from my previous work. Let me get in here. Oh, let me have it in images. Let me close this down. Let me get this way. Images. Let me see. B. Just rename it to Joseph. Okay. So let's get this. I have my HTML here. I have this on the right. Okay, good. So first we need to insert our own image. So let me have img. src is images. / Joseph. Alternate text is Joseph Opio. Okay, good. Let me make this smaller. Ctrl-0 to reset the zooming. Maybe let me zoom it in just for us to see. So below this, we're going to have, according to my guide, we're going to have a small paragraph about ourselves. My name is Joseph Opio. I come from home. My father's name is Dad, and my mom's name is Mom. Let me not say mom's name, let me say mother. So my name is Joseph Opio, I come from home, my father's name is Dad, and my mother's name is Mom. I'm just replaying what one time one of my kids told me. I was in class and I was teaching. This was a very young child, and I was like, where do you come from? And the girl was like, I come from home. I'm like, everyone comes from that. No, me, I come from home. I was like, wow. And what's your mother's name? My mother's name is Mom. And father's name is Dad. I was like, whoa, this kid knows what she's saying. And she was a girl. Like, wow, this is interesting. So now I think let me just add in a little more text. Another paragraph. I qualified as a teacher from Busitema. In the year 2011. I have over 10 years experience. Is it years like this? Those who are good in English, please put a comment below there and tell me that's not the right thing, if at all I've done the wrong thing. I have 10 years experience in teaching computer science and about 2 years experience teaching physics. Okay, so I think this is good enough for me. It's a very long paragraph, and let's keep going. Let's keep going. So we want to create our profile sections, and our profile sections we are going to do something like we're going to make an unordered list, and the list items are the various sections we are going to have. Should I do this? Now let me use H2, and in H2 let me say I want interests. Let me just make copies of this. I told you on Windows you hold down Alt and Shift and press arrow down a few times. You'll be able to make a lot of copies. So let me have jobs, favorite quotes. What am I typing? What? Those who are seeing me writing this, I'm using British English. I learned British English, so I'm really sorry, not American. Maybe I could have something like where I lived and schools attended. Okay, good. So here we go. I have interests. So what am I interested in? For those who remember, I told you I'm someone who likes hiking. I also like biking. I also like racing. I hate video games, so I also like programming. I like photography. Okay. Photography. Ooh. Sorry. An error of the keyboard, not me. Sorry. All right. So then jobs. Which jobs have I done? Yeah, I think this I can put them in order because I moved from one job to the other. So I first taught in a school called Joy Dominion Academy. By that time it was a girls' school. Then I went to Ginger SS. Then after that I went to MM College Wairaka. Of course I've taught for so many years, so you really expect me to have moved from so many schools. Then I went to Horizon. Then I went to Gitega International Academy. And I think let me have this as the last one. Then I went to James Cambridge International School, Kampala. James Cambridge. School, Kampala. Okay, so this is in order. Then favorite quotes. If you do not know, where to go, take any direction and you will reach there. If you do not know what to do, follow the crowd and suffer. There are consequences too. Another favorite quote that I have is pride goes before a fall, and a haughty spirit before destruction. Maybe another quote that I like, the Bible quote, honor your father and mother. No, let me get Proverbs 62, 10, which is, do not put your heart on riches. And since I'm a born-again Christian, let me preach to those who are listening. If you're a parent and you're watching this, Ephesians 6:4, not anger your kids. Talk to them like they also have understanding. That's just, yeah, just typing in stuff to make sure the thing is big. So places where I've lived, let me just have an unordered list. So in Africa, let me have LI weight Africa. Below it, I have an unordered list with a list item of Uganda. In Uganda, I've lived in India. So I'm actually trying to create a list of a list of a list. India, I've lived in Kampala. I've lived in Tororo. I've lived in Kumi. I've lived in Soroti. I've visited Masindi. I've been to Kabale. I'm just putting in most of this just for people to see this. So, okay. And then maybe let's say in Burundi. I've lived in Tega. I've lived in Chankuzo. I've lived in Ngozi. I've lived in Bujumbura. Okay, so that is that. Then also I've ever gone to Tanzania. And in Tanzania, I lived in Mwanza. That's the only place I've been to in Tanzania. Let's go on. Maybe in Kenya. Wait, LI. Kenya. Oh, sorry. Kenya. I've been to Malaba. Even in Uganda, I've been to Malaba before, but anyway. And also I've been to Kisumu. That's the best that I had in Kenya. I really hated Kenya because I was robbed from there. So maybe let's say I'm in another, maybe I've lived in other continents. Maybe let's say I've lived in let me add another continent here, Europe. And in Europe, I've been to UK. And I've been to France. I've been to Poland. And of course, everyone's favorite, every Ugandan's favorite, Sweden. And also Netherlands. Okay, let me just end here for now. So yes, we can see that I've been able to create a list inside of a list. Let's say I want these to be bold. Africa to be bold. Europe to be bold. So let me do it. What I will do is I will surround this with strong. This. Actually, let me do this. Quicker for me. Strong. Sorry, I should have taken the long way. Now, something I'll mention very strongly here, just because I'm recapping things. It's already 1 hour gone, and I'm almost done with this. If I start with Li, I must close Li last. This is what we call nesting. I'm just repeating what I said. So we can say that Africa here is bold. I could do the same for Europe. Let me just copy this, Control C. Where's Europe? So if I start with strong this way, strong should be closed last. This way, like this. This is nesting. I'm just doing this loosely, but yeah, there are things that you should be doing the right way, but I've just done this just to showcase what I was saying. Yeah, and it will work perfectly for you. So with that said, maybe let's say I want to emphasize the countries Uganda, Burundi, Tanzania, UK, and Poland. Now with Visual Studio Code, I can do this. I click on that, I hold down Alt, click behind the next country, click behind the next country, and then click behind this country. I'm done with Kenya. Then click behind this country, UK, click behind France, click behind Poland, click behind Sweden, and click behind Netherlands. So what will I do here? Let me emphasize the text EM close. So it's closing it off for me, and I do not want it to put them there. Let me just delete them off like this. And let me just do this one by one. It's quicker for me. Like this. Will I really be able to do this very fast? Let me save, just for me to see what I'm supposed to be working on. Burundi is okay. Tanzania is okay. Kenya. Okay. Europe. UK. Have that. France. Poland. Sweden. And Netherlands. So that is done. I've tried as much as I can to revise most of the things. So let's now summarize with the fonts and the font colors and all that, and then we shall call it a day. So I'll start from the top. Let's say I want this to be actually all these, and then to be having a black background and a white color. So I'll come behind this P, I'll say style, color, white, and then background, black. And with that said, you can see I have white text, black background. Let me do the same for this one. I think let me do something new here. Let me say style, background. Let me give it background maroon, and then color gold. Sorry. Yes, that's cool. Let me make all these sans serif. So interest, let me do style, font family. Now I could choose to use any sans serif fonts here, like Verdana, something like let me see. I have a lot of them here. Lucida Sans, Gill Sans. I prefer using Gill Sans. Now I will explain to you why this font family has Gill Sans MT, Calibri, Drobset MS, and sans serif. We shall get to see that later, but for now I just want to copy this and add it to all my H2s. Actually, I should have done this. Let me do this. I should have gotten H2s, Control D. No. Let me have the whole tag. Control D, 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 and D. I think that's the final one. Then I just say open. I say H2. H2, and then I say style, and then wait, font family, family, and then sans serif. So I've made all of them sans serif fonts with just a small command, but I want to put in the other sans serif font. Let me just do this because I can't remember the whole name. So let me get this like this, Control C. Get this, Control D, Control V, Control S, and I have sans serif fonts all over the place. Yeah, I was just exploring a few more tools. I'm sorry, I'm 6 minutes ahead already, and I think I've recapped most of the things that I taught today. Let me just make sure we are there. So I recapped. Oh, one more thing, changing alignment. Let me just do one thing, and that's all. Let me align all this UL. So style, text, align right, and see what will happen. All this will go to the right. Yeah, that's done. You can align to the left, the center, justify, or to the right. And then background color, we've done it. Bold and italicized, we've done it. And then making ordered and unordered lists. Now, if you've watched this far, I'm sure you're interested in this kind of content, and I would prefer you would help me hit that subscribe button. Yeah, it will save me so much. Yeah, you'll actually be growing my channel, and I'm so happy that you've watched up to this far. May God bless you, and may you be well. Thank you very much for being a part of me this week. I'll get back to you again hopefully next week on Saturday at this very